Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. Today we'll be talking about the power of your gift. So what it means, you have a gift within you, right? Do you know what's your gift? Because there's many gifts we are carrying around and we're not aware of. And when we say a soul purpose, a soul mission, we don't really know what it means. But the thing is that your soul is a gift. Not just that you are carrying a gift, but you are a gift to this world. And I want to give you 8 powers that you have. A gift of being you. 8 powers that nobody is reminding us of. So the thing is that yesterday I was sitting down and I got inspired to write those 8 gifts down, and I felt like I need to share this with you because many people are not aware of that. Many people are not aware how much you truly matter to this world, how much your presence matters. So the thing is that your soul is a gift and your body is a carrier of that gift. And the first thing is, the first gift that you may not be aware of is that you touch people's hearts even when no one says thank you. How often it happens to you that no one says thank you, but then one day in the future a certain person comes back to you and says, well, you said something to me back at that time and it changed my life. You don't really know how many people changed their lives because they came across you. They heard you say something that touched their hearts. Not often people say thanks to us. Not often people realizes the power of what we said or what we did or what kind of example we've been for many people. And most probably we will never know how many people we've touched in our lives. But the thing is that you touch people even when no one says thank you. So be aware of that, because every time you're being an example of greatness, every time you embody your heart's being, you know what it means? When you are who you came here to be, when you do something from your heart, when you help someone, when you do something that you know that is right, you are touching people's hearts. And I want you to know that because sometimes you feel like your life is meaningless. And of course, we've been trained to think the way that we need to get something in return so we would feel like we're doing a great job. But it's not about that. It's just about how many people's lives your light is touching. That's how you make that good karma, right? That positive karma that will always bring back to you equal results, equal to what you're sharing. Maybe not right now, maybe not in the next few days, but one day it will come to you and you will know why, right? So remember that you touch people even when no one says thank you. The second gift, your path in life is inspiring even when no one notices it. Your path of life is inspiring, even when no one notices it. Remember this when you feel like your life doesn't matter. So where you are right now, sometimes it's really, really hard to deal with what we're moving through. But it means that you're not avoiding responsibilities. If you're dealing with challenges and hard roadblocks, it means that you're not avoiding responsibilities. You're dealing with that, and that's inspiring, right? When you find yourself without money, when you find yourself at the moment where it feels hard to survive, when you find yourself in fights with your loved ones, it's hard to deal with that. But because you're dealing with it, it means that you are finding solutions based on your knowledge, and that's inspiring. You may not know everything, but you know something, and you're trying to make the best out of that something. Isn't that true? And if you're doing that, it's inspiring. So not many people will come to you and celebrate you and cherish you and say to you, hey man, you're doing a great job. But you need to know inside of your heart that you are doing a great job. You're doing the best to your abilities. And that is inspiring. That is your gift. You've come here to learn. You've come here to grow. You've come here to evolve. And you need to become aware of that gift. Because many people may tell you that you're only worthy when you have millions of dollars, when you have a great car, a beautiful relationship, and all of that. But a great gift is also when you don't know how to survive, but you find a way. When you are without any money and you keep up. When you find yourself not knowing how will you pay the next bill, but you trust that it will work out. You find a way, you find a solution, and that's inspiring. When you're dealing with a heavy challenge related to your health situation, but you see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's inspiring. Those are internal shifts we are making. Nobody will see that. But I want you to know that your path in life is inspiring, even when no one notices it. So you need to see yourself as an inspiration every time you find yourself dealing with it. Because you are inspiring. And I'm sure that the energy that you're projecting out will come back to you, because that's the law of nature, that's the law of this universe. But you need to trust into yourself. The third gift that you have within you is that your actions are admirable, even when no one cherishes you. Your actions are admirable, even when no one cherishes you. Actually, the universe is teaching you to celebrate yourself. Every single day, your actions matter. And you need to know that. Every single day, your actions matter. When no one cherishes you, it's a time for you to celebrate yourself. It's time for you to see your greatness. It's time for you to notice how much you've evolved. Because maybe 1 year ago, you haven't noticed that you have within some incredible gifts, some incredible talents. But now you know, or at least you know a bit better. And the actions that you're taking on that path of evolution are admirable. And you need to know that for yourself at the first place. To write a book, you firstly need to walk the story, right? To write a book of your life, you firstly need to walk the story that is kind of unfolding. And that is already admirable. So we all know that all the good books that have been written on this world, all the books that became viral and many people are reading them, finding them inspiring, have been written because somebody needed to walk that path before that person was able to write the story, right? And you're walking the path right now. And you need to know that your actions are admirable. So I want you to know that for yourself, that your actions are already admirable. Not when you make huge results, but when you make the next step. That is something truly important to know. The fourth gift that you have is that the way you are is a blessing to everyone who gets a chance to interact with you. Remember that when you feel like you're not good enough. So my friends, what it means, the way you are is a blessing to everyone who gets a chance to interact with you. How often you feel like you're not good enough? When you find yourself in a certain conversation and you feel, oh, I could say some other words, oh, I could do things differently, oh, I'm not enough because I'm not like that person, I could do better, and so on. How often you feel like that? I want to remind you that you've been manipulated by your environment. So you would adapt to become like everybody else. But that you've come here at the first place to be yourself. That's why I'm reminding you, the way you are is a blessing. The way you are is a blessing, not a curse. So the way you are is a blessing to everyone who gets a chance to interact with you. Not many people will understand that. Not many people will appreciate who you are. But you need to know for yourself first that the way you are is a blessing for people who gets to know you, right? You don't need to be like no one else, because you've come here to be yourself. And the way you are is a blessing. Some people can be really blessed that they got an opportunity to meet you. And that's all you need to know. And I want you to know that inside of your heart. I want you to know that the way you are is truly a blessing. And people who are interacting with you are blessed that they got an opportunity to meet you. This is a huge mindset shift, right? But it's also a paradigm shift, because you may see yourself like not being enough. But I want you to know that you're already more than enough. You're actually more than you think you can be. You are truly more than you think you can be. And you just need to learn to understand that. So you embody more of yourself. So you feel enough within that beautiful body that you're carrying around. So you feel worthy of all the wonders that life has to offer and is about to offer, is about to bring to you. As soon as you feel worthy to receive it, as soon as you feel blessed that you are as you are. That's powerful, my friends. And the fifth gift that you have within you is the work you're leaving behind will be helping people for eternity. You need to know that. The work you're leaving behind. So ask yourself, what am I leaving behind with my daily actions? The work you're leaving behind will be helping people for eternity. Even when you're gone, your energy will be flowing through the hearts of people forever. Every day, you leave behind your footprints, and that is something worth celebrating. Every single day, you leave footprints, my friends. Do you understand that? Whatever you do will stay here, right? The energy you're projecting out, help you're giving others, inspiring actions that are seen in the eyes of others will be flowing through generations. That's how we are learning. That's how we are teaching others, by being an example of who we want to become, right? We are teaching others and touching others by being an example of who we want to become. And once we know that, we know that it's not just about making certain projects, like for example, making art to leave something behind. You're leaving behind your actions, your values, your words, your any kind of contribution you find yourself like that resonates with you. That's what you're leaving behind. Some people in the next generations will say, hey, remember that person who said that to me? Like, even when it's hard, I need to believe that everything is possible. Maybe you said that to a certain person and maybe you didn't believe those words, but you said them anyway because you know they are real. And it inspired that little kid to trust himself or herself. And because of those words, that kid one day will be saying the same words to his or her kids. You never know that, but you need to understand that you're leaving footprints here. And the work you're leaving behind, the words you're leaving behind, the thoughts you're leaving behind, the actions you're leaving behind will be helping people for eternity. So be aware of what you're doing today. Be aware of the words you're saying, because you don't want to leave behind something that could be harmful for others, right? You don't want to leave behind that. So pay attention to what you do today, because what you do matters. What you say matters. Who you are matters. I want you to know that. The sixth gift you are carrying around is that when you share your talents, even if you feel embarrassed, you're still shining your unique light. Because there's no emotion that could block such a wise soul. Trust yourself. There's no emotion that could block such a wise soul, my friends. So it doesn't matter how you feel when you decide to share your talents and gifts. Doesn't matter how you feel. No emotion could block that beautiful light. And you may feel ashamed sometimes, like what people will say. You may feel embarrassed because you've been a bit shaky. You may feel scared of doing that, but you're still doing it. Isn't that admirable? You're still doing it. You're overcoming emotions that have been just programmed into you from your ancestors because they were trying to do their best, and now you're just getting things to the next level. You are upgrading the game. That's why you have still those emotions, but you've decided to overcome them. You feel ashamed, but you share your talents anyway. How often it feels like you finish a painting, if you're an artist, or a certain song, and then all those emotions come up like, oh, what people will say, oh, it's not good enough. But you share it with community anyway. How often it feels like that, and you do things anyway. That's something worth celebrating, my friends. Because even if it may not seem a lot, overcoming any kind of emotion is a huge job. It's huge because we are so caught up in certain emotional states that we think it's our reality. We think that those emotions are our gatekeepers, so we can't escape and become who we are meant to be, but it's not real. Emotions are just products of our past, and not just our past, the past of our ancestors, and so on. So we are carrying so much of the energy of the past within ourselves, and our job is to always find a key to go beyond that, to go beyond the emotional separation that is building that illusional separation between where we are today and who we truly can be. Because deep inside you, there's a feeling that says you, that shows to you that you can already be who you came here to be. But fear and shame and guilt and sorrow and sense of separation and sadness and misery and depression, all of that may give you a sense of illusion that you will never become it. And every time you overcome that, you become more than you've been before, right? So I want you to know that when you share your talents, even if you feel embarrassed, you're still shining your unique light. And there's no emotion that could block such a wise soul. So all you need to do is to trust yourself, my friends. All you need to do is to trust yourself. The seventh gift you're carrying within you is that when you don't have anything to say, how often it happens, you find yourself talking with people and suddenly it may come to certain topics and suddenly you find yourself like you don't have anything to say. When you don't have anything to say, it's not because there's something wrong with you, like there would be something wrong with your mind, but because people are not yet ready to hear what you have to say. Remember that. People are not yet ready to hear what you have to say. Sometimes the wisdom needs to wait for the right moment. That's something I've learned in my life is when I've started helping people, and I've noticed that sometimes I have nothing to say. Like a person may ask you for an advice, but you find yourself like no inspiration, no thoughts maybe appropriate, and you recognize, well, that person is not ready to hear the wisdom that's waiting that person to be ready to receive it, right? And we need to understand it, because if we're not ready to receive a certain wisdom, we will never be able to understand it. It's like reading a book that may be really, really incredible. Like somebody read a book and said, well, it changed my life. That person gave that book to you. You read it and nothing changed. Like nothing inspired you. And then you read it 2 years later and it changes your life. It's because sometimes we're just not ready to hear what we need to hear, right? And when you find yourself having nothing to say, it just means that that person is not yet ready to hear what you have to say. So once you understand that, you also start to appreciate your mind more, the power of your mind. You know that your mind always gives you what you need to know. And when you're talking with somebody, your mind also gives you what that person needs to know. You're sometimes channeling wisdom for the person you're talking with, and you don't even know you're channeling. But how often it happens to you that you're talking about something and suddenly, certain thoughts clicks and come to you, and you give them to that person, and you both experience goosebumps, the energy flows through the spine, and it's like, oh, that's what I needed to hear. That's what it means when you channel wisdom advices for a certain person. But sometimes person is seeking answer but is not ready to hear them. It often happens that way because that person is not ready to put into action what you know that person needs to change in his or her life. And right now we can see a lot of that in the world. When you learn something, you put it into your life, you practice it, you see how it changes your life. Like, for example, boosting naturally your immune system. We've seen a lot of that during this COVID situation. Many people found a natural way of healing, a natural way of boosting your immune system, boosting your well-being, your state of being, not watching news so much because you found the great entertainment in nature, watching a tree moving a little bit, watching a river flowing, listening to birds, having great time, breathing fresh air, right? And suddenly you came to people who don't know those things, and you've started forcing them to know that because you thought it will help them. And what they did, they became protective. They started bombarding you with their knowledge, and suddenly you felt more exhausted than before. It's because some people are just not yet ready to receive what you have to tell them. So remember that. When you don't have anything to say, it's not because there's something wrong with you, but because people are not yet ready to hear what you have to say. And the last one, the 8th gift that you have within, is that when you're alone, it's not because no one accepts you, but because people don't understand your potential yet. Maybe you are different. Maybe you are like a chosen one, right? Not finding yourself in any community, not finding like-minded people. And you may think that people just don't accept you because you're different. But the truth is, people don't understand you because they're all the same. And that's something that is important to know. And it's a great time to go within and to develop those great gifts that you're carrying within you. To see what makes you so special. To see how could you add to the contribution to this world. And how could you raise some energy right now? How could you use what you have, what makes you different, what makes you unique and special to raise the energy on this beautiful planet, Earth, right? So when you are alone, it's not because no one accepts you, but because people don't understand your potential yet. You know, every time when, for example, you make a YouTube channel and it becomes big eventually, people start coming to you, and some people start truly like celebrating you. Hey, thank you so much. But when I was not doing that, not many people were coming to me, because people just don't understand your gift yet. So it's not about seeking approval, it's not about seeking certain validation, but knowing what makes you unique and embracing it, working on it, developing those gifts and talents and so on. Be yourself. The right people will come. Be yourself no matter what. That's something truly important to know. Stay yourself, be yourself, and embrace all that you can be. Work on yourself. Maybe you are alone at this phase, but know that people will come to you. More you are evolving those gifts, more you're working on your natural talents, more you focus on what feels natural, more you recognize where you feel naturally drawn to, more people will find you as a truly incredible person to learn from, to work with, to grow with, to talk with, and so on. So, my friends, this is it for today. I'm sending you all lots of love, blessings, and power. Have a beautiful day. I hope you found something valuable here. Until next time, one love.